Hi, welcome to Home World, the show that's all about local real estate. I'm Linda Amor.
I'm Matt Murphy.
And together we are a real estate team that's been working in the area for 10 years. Today we're going to talk about many things real estate, but we're going to start off talking about being a first-time home buyer. And what an exciting time of life that is when you are first ready to jump into home ownership. There are so many things that are going through the minds of a first-time home buyer. You know that you've made it, you've become an adult, you've reached some kind of financial security to be able to take on home ownership. And a lot of questions are going to come, but really the first one to start with is, do you really understand home ownership? Most likely you've been a renter or you've been living with parents, and this is going to be your first step into home ownership. So it's really important to know the pros and cons of buying a home.
Yeah, I mean, and we love first-time home buyers. We love first-time home buyers, partly because of their excitement, as what you just mentioned. It's just really, you know, I mean, frankly, we love it when our clients are excited about what they're doing, which more often they are. But first-time home buyers are special because they, as you just mentioned, it's the very first time they've done this sort of thing. They've never owned a home before. And again, if you look at the demographics, people are, I can tell you right now, I have two first-time home buyers who are under the age of 25 years old. And that's very unusual because, of course, traditionally, right up until maybe 10 or 15 years ago, you wouldn't be considering buying a home. You had rented well into your 30s, probably before you get enough equity to get a down payment. Part of it is that couples now are waiting longer to have children. They are intensely educating themselves. They are very focused on the job market. They go out there and they become professionals, and you know, and they find a way to make the down payment quickly. So it boggles the mind sometimes to think that people are less than 25 years old and they're out there, sometimes with their parents' help, and sometimes not. So we should explain that for the benefit of anybody who is a first-time home buyer who's considering that. You generally these days do have to have between 10 and 20%, usually 10%. If you've held down an employment position for at least 2 years and your credit is good, you're generally going to have about 10%. And that's difficult because
of down payment.
You're going to have 10% down. And that is tough because, you know, I mean, an average first-time home buyer house, somewhere between $180,000 and $220,000. I'm not a mathematician, but you know, that's 20 grand.
It's a big chunk of savings that you're going to have put away. And
that's tough when you're living life large at that age, right?
Yes. So that's the first thing, and you can look to family for that. There are certain ways that a family member can gift you the down payment or a portion of the down payment. And so that is how a lot of young folks are entering the market these days.
They call it gifting because it's literally that. The mortgage company will allow a family member to give you your down payment, but there actually has to be a letter, a gift letter. It's essentially a contract saying that I, the parents of this person, gift them the down payment and they are not repaying it.
That's right.
Because it's important to the mortgage company that repayment of that money not become part of their financial structure in the future, because they won't be able to afford it.
Can't be debt.
It can't be debt.
Can't be additional debt.
It can't be debt, so you're not allowed to do that. And you know, the other marvelous thing about financing for first-time home buyers these days is the interest rates are still so low. And as far as anyone can see right now, they're going to continue to be low. And I mean, you know, when we were first-time home buyers, interest rates were close to 10%. And I've talked to older people who, you know, back in the 70s, were paying 23 and 24% on their first home interest. Of course, they were buying houses that were 25% of what we're paying for them now. But, you know, so it's a great time to be a first-time home buyer. The other thing you should consider, too, is that if you are a renter, it really is true, your money is gone. You're doing your landlord a favor. Because your landlord loves your check every month, but you're not getting any of it back. You get a small tax credit, you get a small Ontario tax credit, but you're not getting any of it back. So, you know, you really do want to find a way, whether you're getting it gifted from your family or you've got a consistent savings program. And also, if you've been starting to take advantage of RSPs and you've been putting away some money and getting that tax advantage every year, you need to know that you can also use your RSP without penalty, toward your first home. Now there is something else too about a first-time home buyer when it comes to land transfer tax.
That's right, and a first-time home buyer is having their land transfer tax forgiven or largely discounted. So that's been a very big benefit to first-time buyers, where your land transfer tax is 1.25 to 1.5% of your purchase price, and that's being forgiven. So that is helping a lot of folks get into the market as well.
Yeah. So you need to know your budget. You need to be very careful. Don't go shopping for a house if you haven't gone out to talk to a mortgage professional.
First step.
You're going to be very disappointed. You're going to frustrate your realtor, obviously, but your realtor is going to want to know that you've gone and you've got pre-approved. Now, the other thing you need to understand as a first-time home buyer is that a pre-approval letter from a bank or a mortgage company is not a ticket to buy a house. Yeah. You still have to have what's called a financing condition in your offer, your agreement of purchase and sale, because all that basically says is that your financial structure allows you to buy in this area. It doesn't necessarily say you can go out and buy a specific house.
That's right.
So they need to match your pre-approval with the home. Often there's an appraisal involved. There are certain geographic areas that banks don't like to support because they have high default rates, and banks have problems getting rid of them. So make sure that you go through a two-step process. First of all, you get yourself pre-approved, and then second of all, make sure that you have a financing condition and your financial institution has lots of time to make sure that you're good to go to buy that house.
Right.
Now, other than financing, what else do we got that's
well,
important?
also financing it's not just your mortgage. You need to know that you're going to be able to afford that home down the line too, because if you were a renter, all you had to worry about was your rent and your utilities. Now, as a home buyer, a homeowner, you're going to have property taxes, you're going to have your utilities as well, but you're going to have a maintenance budget. You're going to have to put money aside for things that your home is going to need that you hadn't had to worry about before when you were a renter. Yeah. So all those things you need to factor into your monthly costs to know that it's not just your mortgage payment you have to meet. Yeah. There are additional expenses beyond that.
And your mortgage professional will help you budget those because he has to know those things to make sure that you're going to. Now, the other thing you're looking at, all this mumbo jumbo about financing, and they say, "Oh, spare me that. Just show me the houses. Show me the houses." Yeah. The kinds of houses that you're looking for. I think what I would really recommend for first-time home buyers is avoid the perfect ticky-tacky house that's in a bad location. If you're 25 or 30 years old, you may not be like homes on homes. You may not be an expert rebuilder and renovator. That's right. But you learn. Yep. Certainly we did, as we owned various homes over the years. But I would say, as a first-time home buyer, buy for location. And the reason is your first home, you're not going to be there that long. On average, first-time home buyers move between 3 and 5 years. It means you're going to have to sell it again. So maybe you're not going to do a ton of work to it, that's fine. But if you end up buying a house because it's in your price range and you love it, it's got all the latest kitchens and bathrooms and it's gorgeous, and it's beside a biker den, or on a highway, you're going to have problems selling that place.
Yeah, you're going to have trouble when it's time to sell it and get your money back out of it. So
buy for the location.
Absolutely. One of the things that we find often is taking couples out on their first trips out to find homes. They've done their wish list, but they often haven't done it together.
No.
And we find that they say, okay, this is what we're looking for, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, bungalow, and then we start showing them what they've said they wanted, and they're just not connecting. So.
And how long have you been married again?
Yeah. So it's really important.
But they've never done this before.
Exactly. So to be really honest with your realtor when you're out looking at homes, if there's something you don't like, be specific about what it is that you don't like. Yeah. Because we can't, we'll just keep showing you the same thing that you said you wanted until you tell us exactly what it is that you do want.
Well, but it is part of our job to take them out and to find out, exactly what it is they want. And this is trial and error because this is the first time they've done it. So frankly, they really don't know what they want. And we find out what they want simply by finding out what they don't want.
What they don't want.
And again, I was saying I have 2 sets of first-time home buyers right now under the age of 25 years old, and we're going through that process. Yeah. And it's a bit of a cliche, but it's the truest axiom in this case, and that is there are no stupid questions, okay? And they feel almost like they're inconveniencing us, they're embarrassed about it. Don't be embarrassed. This is what we do for a living. We love first-time home buyers. Frankly, we help our own children with that sort of thing. So there are no stupid questions. If you're not sure, ask. Absolutely, because that's what we get paid for. That's what we're here to do.
And it's a good rule to take advice. If you're being offered advice, take the advice. I mean, not just from your realtor, but from other professionals.
Exactly. The family's going to have
family members as well. People that have had experience in it are really willing to help you and really want to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose that's about it. I think we've covered pretty much most of the gamut on first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
We love them. We love working with them.
It's a very exciting time, and when they finally find the right home and they move in, everybody's happy. Everybody's happy.
Yeah. And you know what? They're absolutely key to the real estate market in every market, because if you think about it, it's a domino. If you don't have the first chip there in place, none of the rest of
That's right.
they don't fall.
You can't move up until somebody moves in.
No, and so first-time home buyers are essential to the market. That's how you get second, third, and fourth-time home buyers.
Right.
That's how people are able to move along.
Yep.
You know, obviously you can't be a second-time home buyer till you're a first-time home buyer.
Yep, so it's the start of the property ladder.
Yeah, but don't jump into it. Take long, deliberate thought. Budget very carefully. Talk to lots of professionals. Talk to mortgage people. You need to budget. You need to know how much you can spend, and the really important thing is you need to know where that down payment's going to come from, and this is something that's affordable. But you know what? The day that you do that and you stop renting, you really feel good.
Yep.
You really, really feel good.
Big step.
Yeah, absolutely. So first-time home buyers.